Welcome to today's online academy about inserting articles and the new stretch article function. So what's new about the article inserting mode? So first of all, we have one mode left to insert articles. So as soon as I select an article from my article center, I directly get the bounding box of the article that is also more detailed than it was before. And now, I can just insert this article, and this article would also automatically recognize surfaces. So if I have a room, it automatically adapts to the floor of the room, and you can also see that it snaps to some points. So here on the bottom, I can snap the inserting point, the 0 coordinate in my drawing, and then I can just insert the article like you know it from the IX 2017 version, which was called the quick insert mode. So this is very similar to the quick insert mode. So as soon as I inserted one article, I can insert the next article directly next to it, and it will snap to this article. But here we also have some new functions, like for example, first of all, when I insert the article, where's my article? There's my article. So when I insert my article next to this one, it automatically snaps to the article, and I can just put it flush next to it on the left or on the right side. If I move it on the back side, you can see that I can snap it back to back, so that the back panels are aligned parallel to each other. And if I just insert it on the left side of, or on the right side of my first article, then it's parallel to the right side, of course, and also it creates an article chain so that I can later stretch all the articles that are inside of this chain. So every article that is flush to each other will be in the same article chain. So let me delete these two articles. What is important about handling this insertion mode? Actually, what you have to consider is the article category for it. So in your article, you can add a category, and inside of this article category, you can activate snap points. So for this article, it has all snap points activated, and of course you can use an insertion height, and you can add contiguous parts as you know it from the previous version. So now I have an article that only has snap points on the left side, for example. So if I insert this, it is able to snap on the left side, but it is not able to snap on the right side. So it depends on where you activate these snap points. According to this article category, the behavior of inserting the articles is different. So I could insert this one here. And if you take a look in the command line here on the bottom, you can choose between 3 different modes of inserting articles. So this is actually important for the orientation of the article. as soon as you start inserting the article, you will use the normal mode. So in this case, you can, now I cannot snap it to the left side because this article has only the snap points on the left. So let me take this out again. I choose the article with all points. So if I use the normal mode, I can put the articles side by side, but I can also change the orientation. So I can rotate it to the right side, so to say. If I click right, and then I put this article right to the previous article, you see that it rotates to the right side. And then I can insert it flush to this article. So like this, you can also handle the orientation of your articles. And of course, if I choose the left mode, then it will rotate to the left side, and then I'm able to insert it in a rotated way so that I don't have to rotate it in cut. But let's take a look at the article stretch function. So first of all, I will insert some kitchen cabinets. I will start with some base cabinets that only have a door. So 3 base cabinets. Then I will insert a tall cabinet. All with a normal insertion mode. And I will insert some wall cabinets. Now let me take a smaller one. Okay, so now this is my kitchen line here, and now I can use the article stretch function. Or if you have a look, you see that we have 2 functions. We have one stretch article function that would stretch one single article, or you can use the stretch article line function that rather stretches the whole article line or one single article in an article line. So, for example, if you have a single article, just like this one that is not in an article chain, I can use the article stretch function. As soon as I select the article, I get these arrows here, and I can choose an arrow that shows me the direction in which I want to stretch the article. So I can choose the arrow, and then I can just snap a point in AutoCAD. So I could just shift and right click, for example, and I could use an endpoint. Or I could also snap to a surface, like for example a surface of a wall. If I would have a room here, then it would snap to the wall. Or if you take a look in the command line again, you can insert the overall size of this article, or you can just increase it in a certain for a certain value. Like if I say needs to be 300 millimeters wider, then I just type in 300 and then I can apply it. Or I can stretch the article and I can select that I would stretch it to the right side and the overall dimension must be, let's say, 1000. So now I inserted 1000, so the article will be stretched to the right side to a total dimension, to a total width of 1000, and I could continue stretching the article to all the other directions. When I'm done with stretching the article, it is very important to apply this change rather with a right mouse click or by pressing enter. And herefore you should make sure that your cursor is not on one of these arrows, because then it would like to stretch again in this direction. So I could just left or right click somewhere here in the drawing space, and then my article will apply to this total dimension that I just inserted. So let's have a look at the function stretch article line. So the stretch article line would stretch all the articles in one article line or just one single article. It depends on how many articles I select. So if I just select this one in the middle here and I apply it with a right click, then I get these arrows for the whole article line. So the whole article line will be stretched, but the only article that will change in dimension will be the one that I selected. So if I say I want to increase it in size by 200, for example, then you get a preview of what will happen, and you see that it doesn't stretch the wall cabinets, for example. So here I would have a gap now of 200, and in the bottom line, this left article would just be moved by 200 millimeters. So if I apply this, I can update my contiguous parts. And now the article in the middle has been stretched. All the other articles kept their dimensions. And here on the top, I have a gap of 200. So, of course, I could just select these articles and use the normal move function to move them back to 200. And now I have a whole article line again. But how to bring all, let's say I want to stretch all the wall cabinets to fit the dimension of my base cabinets from the total length. But I don't want the other articles to be moved or stretched. So in this case, I can say I would like to stretch these three articles. I apply it with a right click, and then I can say in the command line, I want to remove objects from being stretched. So, or I could also add other objects, but in this case I want to remove objects. So I remove the tall unit and all the base units. I apply it again, and now you see that I can only stretch the top articles in my article line, and if I stretch it to the left side, I can again insert an overall size that would be the total width now for the three articles, not for one article. Or I can just increase it in size, or I can snap points. And if you have a closer look, you see that it snaps the gaps between the articles. So I can say if I need it to be flush with the first article from my base cabinets, I can just stretch it as far as this article gap goes, and then it snaps to it. Or if I go further, I can snap it to the left side of my bottom article line. So like this, I can just apply it, and now all the other cabinets will keep their position, and only the wall cabinets are stretched. If you want to stretch one article in one line, it is important that you use this stretch article line function. If you use stretch article, then the article would just protrude the other articles, because there is no information that it needs to consider the whole article line. But here you can also see that if I would stretch this article only, let's stretch it to here, for example, to have a gap again between the articles. So I can stretch this article to the right side now, and you see as soon as it touches the neighbor article, I can make it flush with this article. And as soon as the articles are flush, they build an article line. So now I could stretch the whole article line again. Let's say it must be a little bit smaller. These three articles should be stretched. Oh, I want to remove these objects here. So, but now it would protrude my wall cabinet. So this is maybe not the best example now. So yeah, you always should make sure that you select the correct articles, because otherwise you would need to move the articles again. But yeah, you can also use the move article function, and also the insert article function is enabled if you use the move article function here. So you see that my wall cabinet again, my tall cabinet snaps to the snap points of its neighbor article, and of course I could just move the other ones as well. But this is of course quite a lot of work if you want to move every single article here. But what is also nice to see is that as soon as the articles build a chain again, that the contiguous parts automatically join to each other. Okay, now I could say this last article needs to be flush here, and then you can just stretch the article line, only this article. Then I remove all the other objects from being stretched, and then I just snap the outside of the base cabinet. Yeah, this is basically how you can work with this article insert and stretch articles functions. So this time it was a quite short online academy. If you have some questions about these functions, don't hesitate to ask. I will leave the chat open for another 15 minutes. And yeah, I hope you liked this online academy. Yeah, and I hope that I see you again next time.